But see, this is why Princella's whole concept of men are predators, women are predators too, and everything that I'm describing right now is their predatory nature. Everything I'm describing right now is their predatory nature. The psychological games to convince men to be monogamous so that the women don't have to worry about the man leaving, even though her leaving is her prerogative. That is some predatory shit. The woman using love and faithfulness and loyalty to discourage you from wanting a prenup is some predatory shit. A woman not wanting a man to get a mandatory DNA test because it's possible that the seed that's been growing in her is the seed of another dude. And by the time you figure out what you're dealing with, it's too late. But we want to talk about men being predators. Let me tell you something. I'm amazed that she's even running around saying that shit, because even the most fledgling dude in these spaces that is a content creator can seriously dismantle that argument. Seriously. Can seriously dismantle that argument. What do the most dangerous predators on earth have at their disposal? What do the most dangerous predators on earth have at their disposal? If I was having a conversation with her and she referred to men as predators, I could destroy that argument with just this statement. Exactly, Mr. O. Camouflage. 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 Men do not have camouflage. Every woman on the planet knows how dangerous a man can be. They are completely aware of it. Women have camouflage. And I'm not even talking about the makeup, the hair, the clothes. I'm talking about the psychology. Women have psychological camouflage. Women have the same type of camouflage that a smaller, less imposing animal has. In other words, psychologically, you do not believe she can cause you harm. But women are like a small creature that has powerful venom. We live in a world where the women are always viewed as less threatening. The women are always viewed as helpless. Women are more dangerous than men. And the reason why women are more dangerous than men is because of how the world perceives women. If a woman loses her life for whatever reason, guess who the prime suspect is? If a dude's wife dies, who's the prime suspect? her husband. The first person that the police, the detective, is going to look at is her husband. When a husband loses his life, the wife is not the primary suspect. Which gives women the leeway to get away with some shit. But even if I didn't want to use that talking point, it's laughable to call men predators. And I'm going to tell you why it's laughable. This is why it's laughable. Let me give you the definition of neoteny. Neoteny, also called juvenilization, is the delaying or slowing of the psychological or somatic development of an organism, typically an animal. Neoteny is found in modern humans compared to other primates. In progenesis and paidogenesis. Sexual development is accelerated. Both neoteny and progenesis result, as having the form typical of children. Right? So basically, the reason why men view women to be pretty is because women retain some of their childlike features. This is where man's innate desire to protect women comes from. It's not that you have an innate desire to protect women. You have an innate desire to protect children. This is why a dude could see a woman like a Leslie Jones getting ready to get fighting with a dude, and they'd be like, they about to get to fighting, right? But the dude could be getting ready to swing on Leslie Jones, and the guys is going to stand back to see what happens. But let that same dude get ready to swing on a chick that looked like Aaliyah. Every man in that vicinity is going to snatch that dude up, probably beat the crap out of him, right? And the reason why, and I'm not trying to pick on Leslie Jones, the reason why I'm saying that is because Leslie Jones' features are not childlike, but Aaliyah's were. Most beautiful women, most really pretty women have childlike, they have softer features. Okay? This goes back to what I'm saying to you when it comes to women having the ability to be more crafty predators. Okay? So this concept, this idea that women aren't predators, it is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life, because predators come in many forms. Many forms. And I'm telling you right now, most predators are not extremely large animals. Do you notice that? Most predators are not huge animals. Most predators are not really big animals. You feel? You look at an elephant. An elephant is not a predator. Like, I'll give you a prime example. You know a predator that has a very disarming feature? A cat. A cat has a very disarming feature because of the way its face looks. In fact, the Japanese have actually employed this, that when it comes to predators, women are better at it, simply because you're not expecting it. You're not expecting it. You expect men to be aggressive. You expect men to be violent. You expect men to do all of those things. You don't typically expect that out of women. That's also the reason why the women have so much of a problem with the conversations we have here. Because we are exposing their psychological camouflage. I'm going to say it again for those of you in the back. The reason why the women do not like the conversations we have here is because we are exposing their psychological camouflage. Black women, have you noticed that the world views you more aggressive than other groups of women? Do you notice that the world views you, black women, as more aggressive than other groups of women? You know why? The reason why is because you have more masculine features. It wasn't always like that. You go back to the 70s and look at black women in the 70s. They look different. They look different. Think about it like this. Any of you ever play those games? Any of you ever play the video games where you have a choice in the video game where you can choose? I think one of them is Fable, where you can do good deeds or you can do bad deeds. If you do good deeds, it'll show in your character. He'll start looking a certain way. If you do bad deeds, he'll start looking a different way, right? So to answer your question, Carrie, what changed black women? I'm going to tell you what changed them. What changed them is the 60s moving forward. The change didn't take effect right away, but it slowly took effect. There's a study that has been done that says anytime women take up the role of a man, they begin to start producing more testosterone and less estrogen. So if you have a culture where women have decided they don't need a man, and then you end up with a large portion of the women in your culture heading their own households the way a man would, it affects their physiology. It might not affect that woman, but it's going to affect her offspring. And I don't know if you've noticed this or not. Most people ain't paying attention to this because scientists and social scientists, they don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole because they'll be accused of being racist or some other foolishness like that. But if you've noticed, haven't you noticed in black culture that the men have gotten smaller and the women have gotten bigger? Haven't you noticed that? The problem is there are too many of them that are operating in pseudo masculinity, and that is confusing the body. What the mind thinks affects the body, right? So if you're operating like a guy, you're telling your body that you're a guy. And it starts having an adverse effect on you, you know? And it's the same thing with men. Because black men have been playing this secondary role to their women, you're producing less testosterone and more estrogen, which is the reason why you see so many black men running around today that quite frankly act like bitches. That's what that is. The human mind is the human brain is an amazing organ. Human beings are amazing creatures because we are able to adapt, right? To circumstances, to the environment, to things of that nature. So what you have going on right now, and this also plays into why your men aren't as protective. Y'all always talk about, oh, the men ain't protected us. We're the least protected woman because you're the most masculine woman. See, that's the truth. You may not want to hear it. You may not like it, but that's the truth. That's the truth. You even got women on the internet talking about I need to unbig my back. Why is your back so big in the first place? You feel me? But to get back to the original point, right? The reason why they do not hold the mothers accountable is because if any of these women were to acknowledge the faults of their mother, if any of these women were to acknowledge their mama's bullshit, they would then have to acknowledge their own bullshit. And this is why mamas never come up. This is why mothers never come up. Because mothers are also women. And if women don't want to be held accountable, they can't hold their mothers accountable. This is why I say you can't talk about men not being accountable, because men don't have no problem calling out their father's bullshit. Men don't have no problem not only calling out their father's bullshit, but men also don't have a problem avoiding engaging in their father's bullshit. Tell me I'm lying. How many men do you know that have turned into full-blown simps because they don't want to be like their abusive, womanizing father?